Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to read a chapter from the Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963. We're on chapter 13. I meet Winnie's evil twin brother, the Woolpoo. So that's the name of the chapter. And here we go. Oh, yeah, that's the name of the chapter. Here we go. If y'all are going to the water, you stay away from Colhere's Landing. A couple of years ago, Miss Thomas's little boy, Jimmy, got caught up in some kind of whirlpool, and they didn't find the poor soul's body for 3 days. I'd only halfway listened to what Grandma Sands had said, and now me and Joey and Vi were standing at a sign with arrows that pointed in two directions. The one pointing to the left said public swimming, and the other one pointing to the right looked like it had been on the post for 1,000,000 years. But if you got close to it, you could read, warning, no trespassing, no swimming, no public entry. Signed, Joe Collier. Oh man, Collier's Landing, I said. Let's go. I knew Joey wouldn't like this, but I figured me and Vi could talk her into coming and not snitching. Joey said, Kenny, you heard Grandma Sands. Tell about that little boy getting lost in the water. What was that thing called that she said got him? Daddy Cool said. Didn't you hear what she said, Joey? She said he got caught by the Woolpoo. Is that a fish? Joey asked. You know who Winnie the Pooh is, don't you? Me and Joey both nodded. Well, the Woolpoo is Winnie's evil twin brother. Don't no one ever write about him, 'cause they don't want to scare y'all kids. What he does is hide underwater and snatch stupid kids down with him. But I figured that dumb story was enough to scare me off, and he started walking in the direction of the public swimming. If Kenny wants to take his stupid little behind down there and get snatched, let him. Vi grabbed Joey's hand and started pulling her along with him. But she skidded her feet in the dirt. But Vi, what if the Woolpoo comes down to where we're going? Can't he swim down there and get people too? Nah, Joey. The Woolpoo don't come on public beaches. He just grabs folks that are too stingy to let people come on their land, like the Collier guy. Who could understand Byron? Here was a chance for another fantastic adventure, and he was going in the wrong direction. Something was wrong with him. If he was in Flint and you told him not to do something, he'd go right out and do it. But now he was acting real dull and square. Maybe it was the heat, maybe he just like it had sucked all the energy out of me. It had sucked all the meanness and fun out of Vi. What you gonna do, punk? Byron shouted over his shoulder. Joey yelled, Come on, Kenny! You know what Grandma Sands said. I couldn't believe it. I really wanted to go see where some kid drowned, and now Vi was choosing this time to listen to what the grown-ups told him? Oh, man. I'm going to Collier's Landing. Byron shrugged. Have fun, I shouted. What's wrong with you? When are you going to start acting like you normally do? What would Buphead say if he saw you acting like this? Byron flipped me a double middle finger and another finger sign I never seen before and said, Just keep your stupid little butt out of the water. Forget you, I'm going. They kept walking. I'm not playing, Joey waved. I'm going to Collier's Landing. They were gone. I looked in the direction that the warning sign was pointing and started to get a little nervous. I turned and started to follow Joey and Vi, but finally decided I really was going to go to Collier's Landing. Maybe Byron was getting sick of having more fantastic adventures, but I figured it was getting old. I was getting old enough to have some of my own. You're a couple of jive squares, I shouted, then walked off the way the warning sign pointed. Bai must have thought I was stupid. Whoever heard of something called a wool poo? I wasn't sure what the lie was, but I knew Byron had made that junk up. Besides, if Winnie the Pooh had an evil twin brother, it seemed like I would have read about it somewhere. Some of the time, it was kind of hard to understand what Grandma Sands was saying, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember her saying anything about any wool poo. If there really was something that snatched kids into the water, Mama and Dad wouldn't have let us come down here, would they? I knew all that stuff, but I was still kind of nervous when I followed the little trail that went through a bunch of bushes and led to the water. I forgot all about Bai's lie as soon as I saw the water. Collier's Landing was great. The water was dark, dark blue, and best of all, it was about 100 degrees cooler. Joe Collier had put up another sign on a giant tree. Warning, danger, no swimming. 6 lives have been lost here. Bad drop off. Signed, Joe Collier. 6? Grandma Sands had said 1 little boy drowned here, not 6. I felt dumb, but I looked real hard at the water to see if the wool poo was hiding there. I even looked up and down the shore to see if there were any strange footprints in the ground. I was kind of worried because the sign looked a lot fresher than the first one. I kept waiting for Bai to jump out of the bushes and say something like, "Aha, you little dope, I got you. I made you look for wool poo." But everything was real calm and quiet. The water didn't even look like it was moving, but like it was breathing, going up and down, up and down. And it made a sound like the wind blowing through the big trees in Flint. I walked right up to the edge of the water and still didn't see anything strange. So I figured if there really was anything dangerous, Bai would have followed me here and stopped me from getting hurt, wouldn't he? Then a bell went off in my head. I knew Joe Collier put the sign up because he didn't want to share his lake with anyone. The wool poo was some made up garbage. There was one good thing about getting in trouble. It seems like you do it in steps. It seems like you don't just end up in trouble, but that you kind of ease yourself into it. It also seems like the worse the trouble is that you get into, the more steps it takes to get there. Sort of like you're getting a bunch of little warnings on the way. Sort of like you really wanted you could turn around. The first warning I should have listened to was when Daddy Cool and Joey followed the arrow to the left and I went to the right. The second warning came when I decided to wade into the water and the knots wouldn't come out of my tennis shoelaces. And I had to pull and tug those shoes off with the laces still tied. After that, it's kind of hard to count how many warnings I got because with the trouble I ended up in, I must have had a zillion of them. Step by step, I kept easing into trouble until I finally was standing in the lake with the water up to my knees. I'd gone out into the water because there was a bunch of little stupid-looking, slow-moving fish right near the shore, and I thought I might be able to catch some of them and make them pets. I wasn't afraid because I figured if there was a real wool poo and he was in the area, these little fish wouldn't be hanging around. Alabama fish were a lot friendlier and a lot trickier than Michigan ones. I bent over and stuck my hand in the water and tried to grab a couple, but they were slipping away like they were covered with soap. They were right there, and I couldn't grab them. They didn't even act like they were afraid of me. They just kept swimming around my legs, even bumping their faces into me, like they were trying to kiss me. It seemed like they wanted me to catch them and take them back to Flint. After missing about 100 times, I stood up and saw the reason the fish wouldn't go out any deeper. There was a big green turtle about the size of a football cruising back and forth in the deep water. And he looked just as slow as a stupid fish did. Wow. Who'd want to have fish for a pet when you could have a turtle? I took a few more steps out, and the cool blue water came all the way up to my arms, getting cool all of a sudden. Like this made me bug my eyes and suck in my breath. I made a quick grab at the stupid turtle, and zoom! He flapped his arms once and disappeared into the deep water. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop there today. We'll finish up this chapter tomorrow. I don't want to make the video too long. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to smash that like button. See you later, guys.